Hi, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do a little bit of homeschool planning. So if you enjoy this type of content and other homeschool and lifestyle content, please remember to subscribe and let's get into it. All right, so this video is an open collaboration video with Abby from Rooted in Rest and Jessica from the Waldock Way. So there'll be a playlist link down below in the description box of other homeschool moms here on YouTube sharing some of the ways that they are planning for this new year. So make sure to check it out. Hopefully you'll have some great ideas, or they'll give you some new ideas, whatever it may be, to help you better in your homeschool. And I'm gonna show you a little bit of how I am planning right now. I'm gonna share with you a new planner that I've been trying out and just kind of go through a little bit of my planning technique. There's not really a technique to it. That's a secret. I'll tell you in a minute, but there really just isn't a technique. So let's get into it. All right, so the secret, the big secret, is I am not much of a planner when it comes to homeschool. And I don't know why, to be honest. Like, I always thought I would be a pretty rigid homeschool planner. And I did try a little bit more rigid of homeschool planning before, and it just doesn't work because plans just get messed up. And so I didn't want to be writing down every single thing, every single lesson we were supposed to be on, and just have everything get messed up. And so I stopped doing that, and basically for a while just really didn't plan a whole lot and had curriculums that were easy to pull out, didn't require a whole lot of prep, so it was not that big of a deal. And I think one of the reasons that I could do this and feel okay about it is naturally I'm very, very organized. I don't really have to think about things. I just kind of have stuff to do. I have it where it needs to be. I know where it is. I know what I can do to get it. Just all these things. It just comes very naturally to me to be very organized and to already have a plan. I don't necessarily have to write everything down because these routines are just kind of ingrained into my system. And some of it is a blessing and a curse, for sure. Sometimes it drives me a little bit crazy. So I think that's one of the reasons why I don't necessarily have to sit down and just plan everything, because some things just come naturally to me and I don't need them all written down to remember them. So that's the secret, okay? I'm really not great at homeschool planning. I have planners and I write down stuff that I'm doing in my normal life, to-dos, so I don't forget, and kind of put them into my block schedule for the day. But when it comes to scheduling out a year for homeschool, I'm just I just really don't care that much. I just am not very good at it. I don't know what we're gonna do. I hate planning all the extra things. And so it's just, if you feel like that too, then you're in good company. Well, hopefully. I don't know if I'm good company, but know that there's other people out there that are in that situation as well. Okay, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I don't forget to tell you anything that I wrote down. So one of the focuses I do have this year in 2024, which is just crazy that it's 2024 already, is to utilize what we have. Whether this is games or curriculum we already have, or supplies that we already have. I'm trying to utilize those things that we have, because there's a lot of things that will just get put in the closet or down in the storage room. And I'm like, oh yeah, we have this. We never tried it. And so I want to try to do that better. And I'll explain a little bit how I'm going to implement that when I talk about the planner that I'm using. And so that's kind of one of my goals, is to make sure I'm using what we have. That's my big goal. It's just to focus on what we have and not so much of let's get this curriculum, or let's get all these books, or let's get all these new games. I just really want to focus on what we already have. And obviously we'll get a few new things here and there, but I'm trying to just go through what we have and make sure that we're enjoying that kind of stuff. And if we don't, and we don't like it, then see if there's somebody else that wants it that will actually enjoy it. And so one of the ways that I'm making this work a little bit is we've been reorganizing a few things. My kids' rooms, they share, my four oldest share. My boys are in one room, my girls are in another room, and then the toddler right now has his own room, and the baby is in the laundry room because it's its own bedroom. Anyway, excuse me. And so that's kind of where we are right now. But the oldest kids have a lot of books, and we like to read around here. And so I got them some extra bookshelves. So we've been organizing their rooms to take those books. I have a bookcase down here with some smaller kids books that'll work better for my first grader if they're in her room. So we're gonna put some of those upstairs, and then it'll clear out a little room in the homeschool closet for a few things that I want easier access to so I can see them and be like, okay, we're gonna actually utilize these. So that's kind of everything that's going on right now. And so I'm gonna show you this planner so you can kind of see what I'm talking about and just show you how I plan but don't really plan. So if you wanted an intense planning video, this is probably not it, but I'm gonna show you what I do and what kind of works well for me so that I just remember the few things that I tend to forget. Okay, this is the planner. Isn't it cute? It has pictures of, these are from last year, so my toddler is not that little. He was like a little pumpkin. He's not that cute anymore. He's just into everything. But this is from Erin Condren. I believe it's a newer planner. It's a homeschool planner. Like that's why it caught my eye when it popped up. And there's different covers. You don't have to do this. They didn't have tons of covers. And this was honestly my favorite. It just had sections on the front and the back for you to go in and put pictures in it. So that's what I did. I just went in and put a whole bunch of pictures in it. It does have a lot of really cool things in here. I'm just trying to decide if I actually use it enough. I feel like the right person could use it enough. I just don't know yet if that is me. I've had it for several months, but I also had a baby during that time, so I haven't been super great about using it. But I wanted to just show you. So this is December. It's really hard to see. I'll probably try to insert some B-roll, but there's a calendar, and so you can fill it in. That's one of the things that's really great is it's all blank. And so if maybe you miss a month, you still can use this for 12 months, right? Sometimes I get behind on planning or it's just been crazy and I just didn't get around to it. And so in a normal planner that has all of the months listed out, I would totally just, you know, that month's gone. I guess you could like technically cross it out or something, but everything's dated, right? So it's really hard to use it if you miss it. This one, you're filling in your own calendar, and so it makes it a whole lot easier to still utilize those months that you had to skip or whatever. You know, if you don't have to skip, then good job you. Sometimes that happens to me. Even as OCD as I am, we sometimes have to skip. And then I'm trying to see what to show you here. The next page you get to is a page that allows you to put in schedule, and there are 6 spots, and I have 6 kids. Obviously the baby's not doing anything right now, but I have just 5 of my kids' names on it. And then down the side, you can do different things. Like I was kind of following the format that it showed on Erin Condren, but you don't have to do it this way. And this is the way I've done it. I put the dates on the side, and then I put all of our group work underneath that. That's what I want to do for group work. It's listed under those things every day. And those are the ones I was specific about what lessons we're doing, whether it's science or our geography, because those are the things that we need to like actually get through and make sure that we're getting through so that we can keep, you know, progressing in all the curriculum that we have planned. The other like language arts and math and all that stuff, I could write them down, and I did for like a month or two. It takes a lot of writing though. But we just do that stuff naturally. Again, that's already ingrained that we do language arts and we do math Monday through Thursday. My kids don't need to really think about it. So this time around, when I was doing the planner, I wrote, so I did January and I filled in the dates for February, but I still need to finish filling everything in. So this time around, when I wrote under each kid's name what they're supposed to do every day, I focused on things that were a little bit more unique or things maybe I tend to forget to have them do. So doing their personal reading was one of those things. They're supposed to do that for 30 minutes a day. And a lot of times they end up doing it at night. So I don't think about it, but I just want to make sure that I'm double checking with them that they're doing it, and especially with my first grader. And so I have that. And then I have their language classes. That sounds really funny. And so my older son does Japanese. So I have his language classes, you know, every day he's supposed to practice. And then my next 2 kids are doing Spanish. And so they're just doing everything on Duolingo, which makes it really easy. So they all need to practice for about 15 minutes. Otherwise they'll be on the screen forever. So we set timer, they do for 15 minutes. And then something else I tend to forget is typing. I don't know, I just have the hardest time remembering to have them typed, and sometimes we're really good about it and sometimes we're not. And I think one of the problems was I was like, well, we can just do typing the same day. I'll get the computer out, all the typing sheets, and they just do it all the same day. But it takes too much time. I think, you know, by the time they do their schoolwork and move into some of the afternoon stuff that they're doing, it just gets bogged down. So I was like, okay, well, I'll separate it so we kind of have it staggered. So I wrote it in this planner so that I know which days everyone was doing what. So that's all taken care of. I wrote a few, like my son goes to a church group on Tuesday night, so I wrote that in. And then we're trying to do exploring technology on Wednesdays. That's part of our charter school. And so we either pull out some things they can build, or they have some animation stuff they could work on. We use the Cricut. They love to print stuff on the Cricut and iron it onto shirts or stick vinyl on other things. So that's kind of the day to do that. We'll see. Again, it's hard because they all want to turn doing it, and some like the Cricut, and they can't all do it one day. It just is too long. So we might again have to split who's doing what with exploring technology, depending on what they want to do. We might have to split it into a few days. So that's kind of how I plan that. And then I put in our gym class, we're trying to have more of an official gym class, especially during the winter time, because they don't get outside and play as much, especially since we don't have any snow. It's just cold, which is just awful. And so anyway, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're gonna try to do that. And I think one of the days we'll just do yoga. There's the Cosmic Kids Yoga on YouTube that's really fun. They really like that. And then the other day I'll try to plan something that either in the basement, set up some sort of obstacle course where they're doing some different exercises, or we have some jump boxes or stepping stones, things like that that they can do down there or in the garage if it's a little bit warmer of a day. And so that we're just getting a little bit of exercise in that's different than what we're doing on our normal days. So I think that's mostly what I did. I did put some language art games for my first grader, just again to pull a few things out that she could do, because she usually finishes her schoolwork before my older kids, and so having that activity for her to do. And then something else, especially for her and for my toddler, is to have some sensory bins for them to work on. And I unboxed some Knowledge Crate bins, whatever they are, sensory bins, and some of the different things that they have with the Knowledge Crate, which I mentioned the Knowledge Crate in my kindergarten do-over video, that I love it for sensory bins and stuff like that. And so I got a whole bunch of that stuff. That video is gonna come out after this video, and so you can look forward to that video. But that'll show you a few of the things that we're gonna be trying out. So I have a few sensory bins that are a little bit older. I have some random sensory bin stuff, and this is one of the reasons I wanna clean out the closet and have those things all within reach where I can just look in there. And I didn't plan specifics for every single week. So out on this like little corner side over here, I put down sensory bins, just so I look in the closet and can decide, okay, what would be best this week or what's easy enough to pull out. And then I have some stuff that's a little bit more toddler friendly as well. You know, as much as anything's toddler friendly, he figures out how to go crazy with anything. And so that's kind of what I'm doing with that, to make sure they have something to do. And then my big kids usually like to play with them too if they're done with their schoolwork. And then also on this side, because usually Fridays is more of like a game schooling day. Again, I didn't plan those things out specifically. I'll probably plan them more week to week depending on what our schedule looks for the week, because sometimes Friday is more of a flex, like it's a flex day, and sometimes it's full of appointments, or sometimes we have someplace to go. So I don't want to be super rigid in what I plan, go to all that work and then not even do it. So I'll just kind of look at what our schedule is for that week and then decide. Game schooling, maybe we'll bake something. Maybe we'll do a little lemonade time thing. I'm not really sure. We've been doing lemonade time, sort of, but I'm like, do I want to do a huge lemonade time? I'm not really sure. It's kind of our poetry tea time, but we don't drink tea. So it's lemonade time. That's what we call it. Anyway, so Fridays I put down scripture games that we're still gonna do like that day. So my kids love playing bingo, and scripture bingo helps them remember the people in the scriptures. And then I'll set out a game specific to the scriptures we want to work on that week. And then game schooling, I rotated every other week, depending again if we're doing game schooling or if we have time just during the week to throw in some games. And so some weeks we're doing geography and math, and some weeks we're doing science and language arts. And so they'll kind of give me a cue like, okay, this is the game I need to pull out, and I'll pull that out and we can work on that. So that's kind of how that works. And then I also put independent games because we have a lot of STEM games that are just individual or like mind games. What are they even called? That sounds funny, mind games, but like Canoodle and things like that, that kind of like, I don't know, Sudoku sort of things that work your brain that are really hard for me, but are really good for the kids. And so just pulling a few of those things out and saying, okay, you're bored, go grab a game, here they are. And they're already ready, they don't have to look through anything. So that's kind of the plan with that. So that's what I planned for. Just those things that I knew I might not think about, I might forget, and then a few other prompts to help me remember some of the things that I need to do from week to week. Okay, the last thing I wanted to mention was just another section that's in this planner. I probably won't use it as much as some people might because it's all about trackers. So at the very back, there's a tab for trackers. And so it has a spot where you can put curriculum resources. So if you have a whole bunch of online things, you need all the passwords, all the names for all the kids, like all the usernames, it gives you a spot to write that. So here it tells you, you know, what's the site, what's the account, what's the password. And so you can write those things down and not forget them. Have them all in one spot. And then there's also a reading log right here, so you can write the date. I'm trying to use this a little bit more just so I can remember by the end of the year what we actually have read. So there's the date, the book title, an author if you want to write those things down. You could have what kid read it or whatever, so you could remember those types of things, what they're reading for the whole year if you wanted to do it that way. So there's a few options. And then there's also, let me flip pages, there's attendance tracker as well. I filled in my kids' names, but attendance doesn't matter in our state. It matters in some way, right? But not that we have to account for attendance. And so if you do live in a state where you need to keep track and you don't want to do electronic, I'm just not an electronic person most of the time. I like to have stuff on paper. It has an attendance tracker. I think there's only spots for 4 kids. So sorry my other kids. But anyway, I put their names on here. I doubt we'll use this. Anyway, it's there if you need it. And then there's also an expense tracker if you need to keep track of what you're spending, or if you are part of a charter and you get reimbursed for things, you could keep track of it there. And then there is another tracker right here. So I guess you could maybe use this as well for attendance in some way. I don't know the best way to use all of these. I know there's some ideas on the website of Erin Condren, but I haven't figured it out. This could be like, especially for high schoolers, if they have certain subjects and you need to make sure they're hitting certain lessons, or maybe scores they're getting on certain things, so you can keep track of all that in one spot. That could be a good use of this part. So I don't know if there was another thing. Oh, there's all the homeschool pals and contacts, like other homeschool contacts can go in the back. And then there are stickers back here. They have birthday stickers, all that kind of stuff, so you can fill it in. And there's like little pouches too. There's a pocket and a pouch back here. So there is a lot of great things in here. I'm mostly just utilizing the like 3/4 that isn't the tracker stuff, but that's just what works best for me. So that's the planner I'm using. I'll have to see by the end of the year, or we'll see when we get through this. It would probably not be till fall sometime. So I'll have to decide if I want to get another one, if it's worth it to me. So I'll have to let you know. So far, I think it's a really good resource. It's just whether or not it's a good fit for me. All right, so that is a little bit about homeschool planning over here. I know it's a little bit maybe chaotic to some people. In my head, it's all organized. I don't know. But if you enjoyed this type of video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below how you like to plan. Do you do it for the whole year? Do you use a certain planner? Anything like that would just be great for anybody watching this video, and also helpful for me because I love looking at new resources. And I will see you next time.